with a smile on your face. When you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. It is Monday, June 10th, 2024, and it is a beautiful day to be in the land of the living. We're coming to you live from the Port Mall here in Scarborough, Tobago, and I am Adana Kumbi. This is the day that the Lord has made, and yes, we will rejoice and be glad in it. I am happy to be here this Monday morning with you, and I'm so happy that you chose to be with us as well as we bring information to you as it relates to things happening in and around Tobago. Yes, the weekend just concluded, and so there's so many things happening on the weekend that we might speak about this morning, but more so things that are happening on the island that affect and impact our lives. We will have those discussions this morning. We're always so happy when you choose us, and the fact that you've made us the #1 morning show in Trinidad and Tobago is so much to be thankful for. So we thank you so much this morning. But before we get into all those conversations this morning, we head on over to the news in 90 seconds.
News in 90 seconds is brought to you by Standards, never beaten on quality and prices.
Thank you, Adana. Here is your news in 90 seconds for Monday, June 10th, 2024. A police operation on Saturday in Tobago resulted in one arrest and the detention of several foreign nationals. The Operation Slam exercise conducted in the Crown Point and Scarborough district led to a search at Chill Out Bar in Crown Point. Police detained 32 foreign nationals of Venezuelan and Dominican descent pending immigration status checks. Additionally, a 35-year-old man from St. Madeleine was arrested on 7 outstanding warrants. The operations, directed by ACP Hazel and Senior Superintendent Kerr and supervised by ASP Barrett and John and Bacchus, involved multiple units including the K9, CID unit, Inter-Agent Task Force, Guard and Emergency Branch, and immigration officers. Enquiries are ongoing. Up next, YouTube announced stricter policies on gun-related content starting from June 18th, aimed at protecting young viewers. Content featuring homemade firearms, automatic weapons, and certain accessories will be age-restricted, barring users from under 18 from viewing it. The platform also prohibits videos intended to sell firearms, instruct on making guns or ammunition, or modifying firearms for automatic fire. Live streams showing firearms are also banned. While some exceptions exist for artistic, news, or military footage, violators will face content removal and potential channel termination after multiple infractions. This follows the arrest of Canadian vlogger Christopher Hughes' Christmas list in Trinidad, highlighting gang culture and violence. And finally, Keith Scotland, chairman of PNM's Internal Constitutional Reform Committee, expressed satisfaction with the turnout and engagement at the Constitution consultation in San Fernando. The committee covered various constitutional topics and documented attendees' views for the PNM's reform stance. This discussion included possibility of an executive president, the first past the post voting system, service commission, the salary review commission, and the protection of constitutional and children rights. Scotland highlighted the Administration of Justice Indictable Act 2020-11, which aims to expedite trials by sending indictable cases directly to the High Court, demonstrating the government's commitment to combating crime. And that was your news in 90 seconds.
Need a fresh start? Upgrade your life with the things you want. At Standard Distributors in Canaan, life is good with zero. Get that amazing fridge, the stylish sofa with zero down and easy financing. Your dream house is within reach. Visit Standard Distributors today. Life is good with zero.
Thank you, Biana, for our news there in 90 seconds. And of course, it's Monday morning. And when it's Monday morning, we have to talk about things that happened over the weekend. I know there was the triathlon taking place here on the island of Tobago and so many other activities. What was it like for you, Biana? I can tell you that I did not leave my home, save and except to go to church on Sunday. What was it like for you?
Over the weekend was a bit, not relaxing much to see, but I went out, had a little, line with friends and basically prepare for the upcoming week.
And that is very important, spending time with friends, with loved ones,
Yes.
with family. There was a time past, if you can recall, I'm sure you can, when we were not allowed to be in close proximity with our friends and family. So I'm happy that you had that opportunity there to spend some time with friends over the weekend.
Yes.
What are you looking forward to this week, Biana?
To put in as much work, I should say.
Very good. Productivity is what we're talking about. So let's make that the word for this week, productivity. How about that? So viewers, that's our word for this week, productivity. We're looking forward to see how many of those things we had. You remember at the beginning of the year, you might have had that your goals for 2024.
Yes.
Let's see how much of it we can check off this week, or even if we do a little part. Maybe your goal was to read a book. Let's see if we can read a chapter, a verse, maybe even a sentence from that book this week and mark off our progress for our productivity for 2024. Thank you so much, Biana. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we head on over to our birthday shoutouts. And on screen this morning and celebrating a birthday, it is Miss Lynette Louie. Lynette Louie, the lady with the voice. Yes, she is celebrating a birthday today. And we want to say happy birthday to you, Lynette. We know that you will enjoy knowing who you are, knowing your personality. We know that you will enjoy your birthday. And so we want to pray God's blessings upon your life. And we wish you happy birthday coming to you from all of us here at the Tobago Update family. Happy birthday to you, Lynette. And this is Todd Noon. Todd Noon, he celebrated his birthday yesterday, and we want to say happy belated birthday to you, Todd. We pray God's blessings upon your life. We pray that all that you desire for yourself, you will be able to actualize and realize and experience. Even as you head on into this new chapter of your life, we say happy birthday to you. God bless you, and all the very best to you. On screen is Tanisha Stewart. Tanisha Stewart is celebrating a birthday as well. And Tanisha, we want to wish you a happy birthday today. We pray God's blessings upon your life. We pray that you get to celebrate with your family, your friends, and your loved ones. And that, you just enjoy all the love that comes with celebrating a birthday. Happy birthday to you, Tanisha. Shanella Wilkinson Blake, she's on screen now and celebrating a birthday also, and we want to wish you happy birthday, lady. We pray God's blessings upon your life. We do hope that you have a wonderful day today. Enjoy time with family and friends and loved ones, and we pray God's richest blessings upon your life. God bless you. Happy birthday. And last but not least on our birthday list for this morning is Janice Rogers. It's a belated birthday. She celebrated her birthday, and so we want to wish you a happy belated birthday. Continue the celebrations, and we pray God's blessings upon your life. We do hope that your heart's desires are granted to you, and we pray that you continue to enjoy the life that God has given you. And for all of our celebrants, we want you to take the time out to remember to give God thanks for life, for we cannot give life to ourselves. Life comes from the Almighty God. So let's remember to give Him thanks and praise as we celebrate. So happy birthday to all our birthday celebrants. All right, and it's Monday morning, so you might be thinking, what is in my cup? Monday morning brew is here this morning, and it's sponsored by LCJ Delights. This morning I am having cocoa shell and bay leaf tea. Yes, cocoa shell and bay leaf tea made for me by LCJ Delights, who has sponsored my brew this morning. What is in your cup this morning, and where do you get it from? And in case you want to partake in any of the brews from LCJ Delights, remember they produce teas, porridges, flowers, pancake mixes, waffle mixes, and all sorts of breakfast items, as well as their premium mixed nuts. So you might want to check them out there. Their number to call is 287-2704, just in case you're looking for something different to put in your cup this morning. Right, so the conversation in studio this morning, of course, we always have meaningful conversations here as we bring information to you. We start off by speaking, of course, with the TTPS. We speak with Mahalia Bacchus, Inspector of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, and we're talking about crime fighting initiatives and briefly on child labor. So you want to be a part of that conversation. We also speak with Mr. Gary Griffith, political leader of the NTA and former police commissioner. We speak about the offer to the Prime Minister to help fighting crime in Trinidad and Tobago. We know how that turned out. So we're going to have a conversation where that is concerned. And then we wrap things with speaking with Mr. Dedan Daniel, chairman of the Reforestation and Watershed Rehabilitation Program, as we speak on a public consultation on the use of the Corland Heritage Park. So very, very interesting conversations this morning as we bring the information to you. And of course, before we start all of these conversations, you know we have to go for a short break. And as we go for a break, we invite you to help us share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Saturday, June 22nd, we head to the Jade Monkey once again for the launch of their 2024 Jufi and Mass Band presentation for Tobago Carnival. On Saturday, June 22nd, we gather at the Jade Monkey to get a glimpse of the Jade Monkey Mass presentation for 2024, the Tobago Festival, and also the launch of the Jade Monkey Jufi, Monkey See, Monkey Do.
I come from the Twin Island.
Get ready for another year of Tobago Carnival with the best band in Tobago, Jade Monkey Mass and the Jade Monkey Jufi. So come out on June 22nd as we launch Monkey See, Monkey Do Jufi, and for Tobago Mass, the Tobago Festival's presentation, brought to you by the Jade Monkey. This one powered by Carib, Digicel, and Next 99.1 FM, a member of the TTT Limited Media Network. Jade Monkey.
Go down in the center, go down. I can't live without you, I can't be without you for too long. Cause when I'm around you, I feel like the heavens just come down. I feel it in my soul every time we on the road, it's a miracle.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. We begin conversations this morning in studio. This morning we're speaking with Inspector Mahalia Bacchus as she brings our usual weekly crime updates as things happen in and around Tobago in the past week from the TTPS. Good morning and welcome.
Morning, Adana, and thank you for having me. Morning to the listening public of Tobago and internationally. I'm happy to be here this morning.
Right, and of course we know we heard it in our news headlines this morning. On Saturday evening there was a raid, if you can call that, and 32 persons were apprehended and led to one arrest. And so we want to get some details on that, and of course of other things that might have happened on the island within the last week and couple of days as well.
Sure. Well, the TTPS in the Tobago division, we are adopting a zero tolerance approach to everything that is of a criminal nature within our space. So we embarked on an exercise where we were able to detain 32 Venezuelan nationals, along with some of them from the Dominican Republic. They are presently being processed by the Immigration Department to determine their status here. Some of them I know would be taken to the IDC center at Trinidad, some persons may be released on supervision by the immigration department. But wherever we see activities that may be of a suspicious nature anywhere in the island, we intend to embark on exercises such as these so that we'll ensure that persons who are here are supposed to be here and would have entered our country in the right manner, the legal way.
Right, that is very, very crucial and very important. So we're hoping that, we can continue to get these types of results in terms of your intelligence leading you to these types of incidences. But we want to talk about more serious crimes. I mean, every criminal act is a serious one, as I mentioned on some conversations before with Senior Superintendent Rodel Kirk, that sometimes we start off with the petty crime. Yes. And we think we could get away with it, and so we try more serious crimes. Yes. So every crime to me is a serious crime because we should not be engaging in these types of activities. What else has been happening in the Tobago space over the past week in terms of crime and also solutions to these criminal activities?
Sure. So we had thus far a firearm recovered. A man from Trinidad would have been charged for that firearm. He appeared before the court and he has since been denied bail. Right? There was a robbery in the Scarborough district, and the officers, due to their swift response, was able to recover the items that were stolen along with the firearm that was used to commit the robbery. So I want to say excellent work to the officers on the outside, the hard-working officers in the Tobago division, particularly the officers in the CID department and also the task force officers. We also have some officers from Trinidad here who are giving us some excellent and much-needed support in all areas. Right? I'm also pleased to report that there was a young lady who was also charged for the offense of larceny servant, where she was taking money from her employers, and she went before the court as well. We also had there was a shooting that took place in the division on the 2nd of May, and we were able to apprehend the perpetrators. And presently we have one man to appear before the court. One would have already appeared before the court. He was charged and he was placed on $200,000 bail. So we have really hard-working officers in the division working really hard to deal with the crimes that are reported, to ensure that persons feel a sense of safety within this Tobago space. And as I'm on that, I would also like to say thank you to the general public for your continued support and your assistance to the officers of the TTPS in the Tobago division. Without them, our work is not possible, right? We have to work along with the persons in the community. Hence the reason one of our strategic goals is community partnership, right? We work along with our stakeholders to ensure that we share information both ways. We share with them, they share with us, and that we ensure that whatever is shared, we get some sort of results from it.
Right, and you mentioned that there are some officers from Trinidad who are here assisting. What are some of the strategies? I know that sometimes it's difficult to say too much in open spaces in terms of your crime fighting strategies, but what are some of the initiatives and the strategies that are implemented as they are here? How are the resources being utilized to ensure the synergy of the officers who are stationed here and the ones who came across, and what is the way forward in terms of working together in fighting this level of crime?
Well, one of the things that you would see is that there has been an increased presence of the police nearly everywhere in the Tobago space. We're talking about from Charlottesville right down to Crown Point. Persons can see an increase in officers, and because we were augmented with that strength, right, it has helped us to increase that visibility. And also in terms of response to some of the reports that we may get, the officers are always out there and ready to respond to persons' cry for help, right? In doing this, we are also trying to reduce that fear of crime. That persons could know you could go to the beach safely beside the shark. You can go to the beach very much safely and know that everything would be fine. Nothing to worry about. The officers are always around and they will always be there.
Well, I'm happy to hear that, and I know that the shark is no longer there. But a police presence is very important, especially in the way things are going right now. You know, every time you turn around, you hear something has happened in this space, and so it brings a measure of fear. And a police presence can bring that measure of confidence, but it also is a catch-22 really, because if every corner you turn or you see a police, in your mind you're thinking crime. Police and crime, they equate. And while it is very important, it also still brings up that unease. But I'm happy to know that numbers are increasing so that people can feel, well, there's a police presence here. Some people have reported that they have, very little confidence in the policing and in police officers. It's unfair to broad brush all officers and all, with that type of thing. But we have had incidences where some police officers have been acting, corruptly and against the oath that they swore to. And what now is what kind of confidence do we have in the number of, as you call it, boots on the street, and persons patrolling and being, readily available for people to call on should something happen? Let's say I'm running to the supermarket, and so I feel as if somebody's following me. How confident am I that I could pick up my phone and I could call, whatever the numbers are, and somebody will respond to me, take me seriously and respond to me?
Well, one of the things I know you mentioned in terms of seeing the police everywhere, it tells you that there might be crime. But one of our functions is also to prevent crime. And there are times when that strategy also assists in deterring somebody from actually carrying out an activity that can be of a criminal nature. Just the mere presence of the police might cause them to change their minds. So that is one of the reasons why we are outside there and ever present, because we want them to see us. We want them to know that we are there at every corner, right? So if you're thinking about going and do anything, that you'll change your mind about it, right? I know you mentioned that there are corrupt officers that could change the idea of people being confident in the police. Now, just as you said, I wouldn't broad brush the entire service. I would still say that there's still high levels of trust and confidence that you can get. And even if you don't want to talk to a police officer directly, there are other means now in which you can share information, right? Because by sharing information, it is one of the ways in which we can get intelligence that we are able to treat with some of the criminal activities, the gangs, the things that are taking place on the outside that are affecting us as a society. So we have 555, we have Crime Stoppers. We also, you could dial 999 and you could just, you don't have to give your name, but you can leave the information that you want to leave. And that is what we have to encourage. What is happening now is dependent on all of us, not just the police service, but everybody in society coming together to understand that things need to change, right? And we need to speak out. As we say, if you see something, you say something. And there must be that one officer that you might be able to at least still call and say something to.
That's right. And of course, crime fighting is all of our business. As I always say on this show, it affects me, it affects you, it affects my child, your child, and our children and generations to come. So really and truly, if you see something, say something. Let us all come together as communities across Tobago, and Trinidad by extension also, to ensure we get information onto the police if we see something. Now, we want to talk a little bit about child labor. That's part of the conversation this morning. Just for people to get an understanding of what constitutes child labor and how it can be identified in our local space.
Okay, so in its simplest term, child labor is any labor where a child is denied the right to his childhood or to certain rights. In Trinidad and Tobago, it is not as prevalent, but it is still seen. We have reports of that here. And in it sometimes we see it and don't recognize that it is happening, right? That any child under 16 years should not be working, right? So sometimes you see a child on the roadway peddling produce. That is child labor as long as he's under 16 years. You go to some of the malls and you see them with probably like gum or chocolate snacks. I'm sure you have seen that somewhere sometimes. As long as that child is under 16 years, that is child labor. Right?
If you have, let's say for instance, you have a family establishment, a family business, and you have your children, and the approach some of us are taking now is to train them up from now, teach them from now the family business, to sustain themselves when they get older, because everybody will not end up in a corporate job. And we have children who are in the family and we want to teach them. They come into the business space and they are employed. Is that considered also child labor?
All right. So one of the things you have to look at is this child being denied the right to go to school or losing his education, or when I spoke about his basic rights. If that is not happening, sometimes that's just the family. And is he being paid a salary to do what he's doing. You know, if you just have the child learning the ins and outs of the business and so on, that's different. As you said, it's a family business. But when you look at the fine details in terms of paying them a salary, right? This child is doing this only. He's under 16 years. He's not going to school because a child like that should be in school, right? He's been denied his childhood, his right to operate or live as a child, and that is taking away his basic rights. So there's a difference when you look at what is the circumstances under which this child is doing that.
Right, and how can it be reported? Is it in the same method that we report regular crime? How do you report well, we spoke about how to identify it, but how do we report child labor crimes?
Yes, just as I said before, there are many ways. You could reach a police officer. You could tell the police officer what you observe. Maybe you had a conversation with the child when you spoke to them, and you realized that the child does not go to school, right? And this is the child is the one that they send out to take care of the family financially, right? You could speak to a police officer. You could call any police station and report what you would have seen, where you saw it. You could even garner the child's name and all of that to pass on to the police.
And one more question, we're talking about denying the child their basic rights. What if the child is denied their basic rights of not being able to go to school, but they're not working? So the child is just at home. The parents home, the child at home, the child is not going to school, the child is of school age, and they're not going to school. What category is that? And also, I assume that also is a crime.
Of course it is, right? Because as you said, they are being denied that right to go to school. So therefore, we have the Special Victims Unit, which also incorporates the Child Protection section, who treats with matters like these. So in a case like this, if you observe that the child is not going to school, you can report it to the police, and they will check into it to see, well, what is going on, right? Because it might be just an observation, and it could be more than that. When you start investigating the matter and you go and you check on the mother, then it could be that you are only seeing them at this time, but they are being sent otherwise to work. And then you have the issue of where children are being trafficked as well. Those sexual crimes and that kind of thing are happening with them. So if it is observed, it is important that you report it to the police.
Of course, our children, of course, we have a responsibility to protect our children. So if you see anything suspicious, anything that is questionable, a child during school hours, not in school for whatever reason, on a regular occasion, sometimes a child might be sick and they might have to stay home a day or two. But if you see someone who is just constantly at home or just not in school during school hours, of school age, let us try to report it, because these children are being denied their basic rights. Ladies and gentlemen, we're speaking with Inspector Mahalia Bacchus of the TTPS as we got our weekly crime updates and some of the initiatives taken by the TTPS, including a group from Trinidad coming across to assist, and also all the other things they are putting in place to ensure that we live in a crime-free environment here on the island of Tobago. Indeed, grateful to the TTPS for the initiatives. Let us come out as communities to support. Let us give the information if we have it. Remember, if you see something, say something, and let us make our communities in Tobago as safe as possible. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us up until this point, and we do hope that you remain staying with us. And as you do, of course, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be back.
Deltec Distributors Weekend Special Wings Friday. 3 pounds wings, 2.5 kilogram fries. Special 100 TT. Soup Saturday. 2 pounds cube beef, 2 pounds cow heel, 2 pounds chicken foot, 2 pounds pigtail, or smoke bone. Special $150. Super Sunday. 3 pounds leg and thigh chicken, 3 pounds sliced pork, 3 pounds lamb slice, 3 pounds cheese, 2 pack of pasta. Special $250. Located Main Road, Argyle, Tobago. We deliver 20 TT. Contact us on deltecdistributors.com 395-5040 or 237-0102. Deltec Distributors Weekend Special.
Need a fresh start? Upgrade your life with the things you want At Standard Distributors in Canaan, life is good with zero. Get that amazing fridge, the stylish sofa with zero down and easy financing. Your dream house is within reach. Visit Standard Distributors today. Life is good with zero.
No place like home, home, home.
Oh, I love Tobago, baby.
When we outside, it's an ocean of love. All that we align to the stars up above. Let we dance now, take a chance now with me. And we go jump till morning. Look, the moon gone sleeping. Tell them we not leaving till the last drop of bacchanal is madness in the capital. So I feel like I'm running tongue again. Jump and shake the ground again. Live with all my friends and them. No place like home, home, home. We go jump till the moon come down. It's we who the stars shine on. Play a mass and break away. Freedom in we DNA.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. I am Adana Kambi, and we continue conversations this morning. We speak with Mr. Gary Griffith, and he is the political leader of the NTA and also a former police commissioner. If we know anything at all and we're paying attention to the news, we know that he presented an offer to assist the Prime Minister in fighting crime in Trinidad and Tobago, and that offer was denied. And so we're going to have that conversation this morning with Mr. Gary Griffith to see where that went, his opinion on the matter, and how we are going to move forward. Good morning, Mr. Griffith, and welcome.
Hi, good morning. It's always my pleasure. Good morning to you and to your many viewers.
And always a pleasure to have conversations with you. Now, we know that you are passionate about fighting crime. We know that your resume in terms of positions in fighting crime is long and wide and expands, being in the police and army, commissioner of police, minister of national security. So you have that measure of experience. And also we've spoken to your brilliant mind. And so we know that you do have the ideas and the strategies that you'd like to implement to fight crime on the island. However, we do know that there's a strain where that is concerned, and so some can call it an olive branch. You put in an offer to assist the Prime Minister to help fight crime in Trinidad and Tobago with the escalation that we've been seeing in recent past, and that was denied. And so we're having this conversation now. What is your position? In your opinion, why was this offer denied? You did say that you are disappointed, but you are not surprised. Why are you not surprised?
Well, yeah, and good morning again. Because the previous Prime Minister, Patrick Manning, said it. He actually understood the character of Keith Rowley when he said that when someone cannot have his way, he will see hate, he will see malice, he will see animosity, he will see somebody totally out of control. And it's the same thing that's happened here. So I didn't do this to expose to the country the character of Keith Rowley. I did it because I will always be a patriot before that of a Prime Minister or a politician. And unfortunately, Keith Rowley has again showed the character that he's not putting the country first. I think it is disappointing that political leaders refuse to communicate. I mean, even Fali Augustine, he has actually blocked me on his phone. And I am continuing to send things to explain to him what can be done to assist in securing Tobago. You will block me for that? So, I mean, Keith Rowley is not the only one. I think it is really rather disappointing that political leaders, persons who may have the ability to serve citizens, which is what politicians are. Our job is nothing more than to be a servant to help people. And your thing is, listen, I have reached that position. I don't want to talk to you. So Keith Rowley will block Gary. Fali Augustine will block Gary. Rowley might block Kamala. I mean, it is so childish, it is so immature. If you want to block people, then why bother to take the position in the first place? So the reason why, again, I understood Keith Rowley's, how he will operate, but I still had to do the right thing, the honorable thing. I will have to swallow my pride and put country first. It is amazing, absolutely amazing, that not 100% of the country will have thought that this is the right thing to do. But again, sometimes we are so politicized. People were actually upset about me doing this. Even granted that would have been made a main media house in Trinidad, they actually had 94% of the country supported my stance on trying to offer services, not to Keith Rowley, but to the country. But to that 6% and those people who are concerned, tell me something. If it is that I have that capability that may have assisted just to probably just reduce one less murder, one less kidnapping, one less home invasion by systems I could have recommended that might have prevented that, you have a problem with that? And that is why when I say that evil is invading our country, that the nation is drowning in blood, there are people who seem to benefit from this. There are people who seem to be so evil. You have to be evil to be upset by me offering my services. Whether you like me or not is irrelevant. Whether I like Keith Rowley or not is irrelevant. The fact of the matter is that the government has totally collapsed, especially as it pertains to national security. 3 years ago, public trust and confidence in the police was 59%. Now it is 8%. 3 years ago, confidence in the commission was 76%. Now it's less than 10%. 3 years ago, it was the highest reduction in violent crime in 17 years. Now it is the highest spike in crime. 3 years ago, crime was the number 4 concern in the economy, in the country. Now it is the number 1 concern. And we had over 100 policies that provided the deterrent, reduced the product of opportunity. Citizens felt safer. We had that rapid response, that high visibility. All that is gone. If it is that I can show that this can be done to assist, not just in Trinidad, but also Tobago, with many of the things that I would have done, and you as the leader in Tobago will block me, and you as the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago would not want my support because we have a different political party card, I think it is very unfortunate, it is very childish, it is very immature, and it is not becoming of politicians.
Mr. Griffith, we can't have this conversation without speaking about, because we're coming to try to get to the bottom of why you are being denied the opportunity, and you're saying it's because of the political difference, maybe he doesn't like you, a personal issue or whatever. But we also have to ask, remember that there was this accusation about your distribution of FULs, and so there was an investigation going on or something to that matter. Do you think that has contributed to the decision that the Prime Minister made to deny you the opportunity to assist in helping?
Total stupidity, total ignorance, because right now there are about 50 matters being investigated on the police service. So that means you should fire Ula Christopher or not speak to her. That is probably the dumbest perception anyone could ever have. So because there's an investigation, that means that a commissioner, you should not get the help of there are about 100 investigations I took over from Stephen Williams. That means that Stephen Williams should be blacklisted. There are over 100, probably 50 to 100, I think, going on right now in the police service. The Police Complaint Authority get more reports of police abuse, of wrongful arrests, of police committing criminal acts than ever before. So does that mean that Ula Christopher should be fired? In fact, she was given a good grade. So the audacity of that ridiculous is mind-boggling, especially as it that not once any of these things were directed to me. So again, we speak about allegations. What allegation? Who reported a crime? What evidence? What witness? This country has stopped being this banana republic perception because a politician said something, because Rowley said something. The man has lied constantly on this firearm situation. And Fitzgerald Hines, they lied and said that people were bringing in component parts to change from semi-automatic to automatic. They lied. Fitzgerald Hines then called the name of a firearm dealer to say he didn't have his files. He lied. He had to apologize last week. They then said that persons with criminal records were getting firearms. They lied. They then said people were getting firearms and they lied. So they have lied constantly, and then you're saying, so if I decide to say Keith Rowley is a drug lord, and then somebody just makes up something, that makes it automatic that person should be blacklisted. So we have lost all aspects in our culture of persons bringing evidence or whatever. And the same thing is happening right now with Foster Cummins. You did an investigation, you can't find anything on him, and you refuse to close the case. This situation of, it is only in a banana republic that politicians will hire civilians, turn them into investigators, pay them big money, and then the civilians will give you a report, and then you read it out and say, look what this man has done. And people will believe that. So 3 years later, after all of this investigation and allegations you spoke about, not one person has been convicted, not one person charged, not one person arrested. So what issue are you speaking about? Not one person has been found guilty or charged for anything as it pertains to these investigations. So the audacity and the stupidity of trying to state that an allegation that has never even provided anything. The only person arrested, by the way, was a law-abiding citizen who was kidnapped in Barbados based on a minister giving approval to the police to go to Barbados to kidnap him. That is how desperate they were. Same thing happened with the SSA. You fired an SSA director and the man did nothing wrong. He never broke any law. He never committed any crime. But that is how PNM operates. You want to get rid of the Auditor General, the Commissioner of Police, the Director of the SSA, Head of the Integrity Commission, Head of the Central Bank. All of these people, you just Head of the Industrial Court. The list goes on and on. And you don't see that as dictatorship because, so Rowley says it is alleged. But this is not an Ian Allen show. This is a country we are trying to run. So a civilian who's a prime minister says something, no evidence, no witnesses, no data, no documents, nothing. And because he says that, it becomes a concern for 3 years. We have to stop being so blinded to follow politicians like sheep and start looking at the facts.
Mr. Griffith, as you're talking about politicians and the fact that there's a political, probably vendetta, I know the NTA is getting ready for elections, and you've mentioned in previous interviews that should you become prime minister, so of course you are back into politics, and of course you are eyeing that position. If you are successful in that, how are you going to manage that position to ensure, one, good relationships among politicians? Because you're saying now that politics should not be involved in the way we govern and the way we manage the society. So how are you going to manage those relationships with persons who are not in your political party? And how are you going to use your resources to ensure that crime is under control?
Yeah, good question. And again, it goes... The reason why it is that there's been measured success under my watch as Minister of National Security and Commissioner of Police is not because I'm an anti-crime expert. It has to do with leadership. It is that type of leadership that the country needs. The leadership of putting country first before that of politics. And that is what I intend to do, using those principles of that LAMP model of good leadership, accountability, measuring performance, and good management. Those are the things, when you use that, you can improve every aspect in our public service. So when it is you see our public service collapsing, it's because of lack of leadership to make sure their performance is being measured, making sure that they are accountable, leadership by example, managing properly. And you put those principles, it is going to transform everything, not just national security, but health, education, the economy, sport, social development. And that is what is required. Likewise, because of what I just spoke about, the reason why it was the highest reduction in violent crime in 17 years, just 3 years ago, and now it is the highest increase in crime. The reason why it is that public trust in the police was 59% 3 years ago, and now it is 8%. The reason why that the Commissioner of Police support was 76% then, and now it is less than 10%. All of these things, it has to do with leadership, not because of Gary Griffith, but because you have someone as a leader then that was willing to embrace persons regardless of their political affiliation. I had 21 persons working alongside me with experts in the field, whether being in charge of management, financial, cybercrime, technology, all of these different things. And when I brought them in, I didn't want to know what party card you had. By doing that, I brought the best persons available, and that is what transformed the police service for people automatically to move from 14% to 59%, from being the least trusted to being the most trusted in the public service. And that is what is required. My intention is to be in a government that I'm not going to look for the person who has a blue party card, but I don't care about your party card. I just want the best person available to deal with national security, health, education, social development, sport. We have a Minister of Sport who has never kicked a line. We have a Minister of Communication who has never once communicated in several years. We have a Minister of Finance who can't even balance a simple budget. So we have a Minister of National Security who doesn't even know his role and function. He said his role is not to secure citizens. So that is what we have endured. We have a Prime Minister who is chair of the National Security Council with no training, qualification, or expertise in national security. The man is a geologist. And that is because he doesn't know anything about national security, but he makes decisions to secure you in this country, and that is why we are failing. So what I want is to make sure I get the best minds available, regardless of your political affiliation. I would like as well even state boards, which is the biggest avenue for corruption. We can actually reduce over $5 billion, I think, in corruption and mismanagement, bad investment, because we put square pegs in round holes because of the party card you had. So because I will pull my chair, I will pull your chair when you sit down in a political meeting, I will give you a state board position. 90% of the people on state boards have no training, qualification, or experience in that field of the state board that they're in. We're supposed to have a criteria to say, for you to be in this state board, you must have the following requirements. We don't have that. So we put all kind of people, because of their party card being close to the political leader of the party that gets into government, put them in a position to decide how taxpayers are going to spend hundreds of millions of dollars, and all of the persons in the state board are solely selected by political affiliation, which is an avenue for corruption. My intention is to put at least 10% of all state board members to be members of the opposition, to put checks and balances to prevent that type of mismanagement, incompetence, and corruption. That is my intention.
Mr. Griffith, and in closing, there's one question I really want to ask. When someone hears the name Gary Griffith, what do you want them to think?
Trust. That is it. Nothing more than trust. You see, if people trust politicians, it is going to do a lot. The reason why there was a massive reduction in crime is because the citizens, they had trust in me. It was 89% of the country wanted me to remain as commissioner or had no concern. Even Keith Rowley, he amended the law for me to remain. I didn't want to stay. I was ready to go. I didn't renew my contract. So trust is important. We do not trust politicians. Because as politicians, we wouldn't trust the police service. Because we don't trust the justice system, we're not going to give information to assist in pinpointing criminals. That is what happens now. We need to start trusting politicians. I intend to show that I have the capability, the character, and being God-fearing enough for you to trust me. And that is what happened. When we had that 482 Gary, hundreds of lives were saved because I was getting information that of people will call, there's no such thing as a perfect crime. They will call to let me know. I will immediately call the Special Operation Response Team that was also shut down, as well as the Emergency Response Patrol, the Rapid Response Unit, the Community Comfort Patrol, the E999, the Operational Command Center, the Commissioner's Command Center. Everything they shut down because of bad mind. I am asking the country to have trust in me that I can be able to make Trinidad and Tobago safe again.
Thank you so much, Mr. Griffith. Ladies and gentlemen, we're speaking with Mr. Gary Griffith, the political leader of the NTA and also a former police commissioner here in Trinidad and Tobago, equating Gary Griffith with trust. This is something that he's saying needs to be reinstated in the political arena and in all the agencies that are here to govern and protect Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us even until now. But we have to go for a short break before we continue conversations in studio with our guests. And as we do so, of course, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. I am Adana Combi, and we're just about 7:47 a.m. So if you're getting to school and to work for 8 a.m., remember that you only have 13 minutes, but you must drive there safely, get the children off to school safely, and yourself to work. No speeding on the nation's roads. Take your time and get there. All right, we continue conversations this morning, and right now we're speaking with Mr. Deedan Daniel, and he's the chairman of the Reforestation and Watershed Rehabilitation Program. And this morning we're talking about a public consultation on the use of the Courland Heritage Park. Good morning and welcome.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to you. Good morning to you. Morning to your viewers, everyone online.
Right. It's a pleasure to have you here this morning. And we're talking about the Courland Heritage Park.
Yes.
And for clarity, let us just identify where that area is so people will know exactly what we're talking about.
Okay, so the Heritage Park is just opposite the YMCA. There is that area that has been demarked as a standout event that happened there yesterday. That is the Rainbow Triathlon, Cup Triathlon. That is the area that we is usually held. So that is the Heritage Park.
Right. So we're having a public consultation.
Yes.
In terms of the way forward in using that particular area.
Yes.
So tell us about the consultation and what we can expect from it.
Okay, so one of the expanded mandates of the Tobago Reforestation and Watershed Rehabilitation Program is green space management, and that area has been entrusted for us for management, or I should say a co-management arrangement with the Division of Forestry. And so one of the things that we sought to put in place is a public consultation on the use of the park and also a user fee as it relates to the use of the park. We have had a situation in Tobago for, I would say, far too long, where our public spaces are accessed freely, used freely, abused freely, and we need to put a stop to that. So part of the reason is to encourage people to come out and enjoy the green spaces that we do have for recreation, for religious purposes, for different purposes really, bring families together, engender community spirit and all these things. So having people to come out to use this space requires our management framework and also a management fee. So as the Bible said, money answers all things. So part of the thing is to decide on what the management fee is going to be. We have proposals as to what the fees should be. We want to get the views of the public, whether it's the people who are environmentalists, who are residents, business owners, opinion formers in the community, all these to come together in a forum that is at the Black Rock Community Center so that we could discuss the plans that we have, also to elicit the views, because we thought that in moving forward, we must, as a necessity, get the view of the public to impact what really comes out of the final policy as it relates to the user and the fee policy for the park.
And you said something earlier. You spoke about the fact that people access these parks free of charge. If you decide you want to have a picnic, you just pitch a tent and you camp out there, you have your picnic, you do whatever.
Yeah.
And sometimes waste disposal.
Yes.
You mentioned that we abuse the spaces that we use for free. And when you don't pay for something, then you don't know how it get there. You don't know the investment that was put into it. And so we abuse these things.
Yes.
And so it's a very good idea having a fee there, because at the end of the day, somebody has to clean it up.
Exactly.
Somebody has to maintain it. So we look forward to how the conversation is going to be formed where that is concerned, not just waste management, but also there are things people might want to have, like a bonfire.
Yes.
What are the things that are acceptable in those spaces and stuff like that are some of the conversations, I suppose, will come up from the consultation as well.
Yes, because that area is an environmentally sensitive area. It's a place where turtles nest. Lighting would affect the turtles. Fires, as you mentioned, could affect them. So we need to have some guidelines and a framework for how the park is going to be used, right? And also how it is be accessed and who accesses it at what time, and all these things will be formed as part of the public consultation. So, like I said, we really want to get because we don't have a monopoly on the ideas, so we want to elicit them from the stakeholders so that we could form something that is mutually satisfactory to all parties involved.
Yes, because I mean, you might have your framework and sometimes you might omit something. So
yes, indeed.
It's a call for the stakeholders to come out. Those of you who might have interest in using the park and you want to have your voice heard, the consultation is taking place this evening.
This evening at 6 o'clock sharp at the Black Rock Community Center. We're going to have a team there from the Forestry Department from Tobago Reforestation, or we just call ourselves for short, and so that we're going to be discussing with persons. So I'm really asking for business owners, residents, opinion formers, community groups, religious groups, all the groups that have intent on using the park and who currently use it.
Adventure seekers,
sporting organizations like we had this over the weekend with the Rainbow Cup. For all the people who use the park to come out and let their voices be heard and let their views be part of the policy going forward.
All right. So there's a call there for all stakeholders and all persons who are interested in using the Corland Heritage Park to come out this evening from 6 p.m. Let your voice be heard. You don't want a policy to be formed and you had no input and then at the end of the day make a fuss about it. So this is your opportunity to let your voice be heard, let your opinion be heard and registered and recorded so that when the policy is formed, you can hold the organization accountable. Certainly. Because of course you had the opportunity for your voice to be heard. Remind us again, day, time, space.
So it's at the Black Rock Community Center. It is 6 p.m. this evening. We're starting on time, and we want all and sundry to come out. We're serving refreshments. If that's an inducement.
Maybe that's an incentive.
So we could come out and partake of the event and really make your voice heard. So we call on everyone, not just people who live in the vicinity, but surrounding communities to come and let your voice be heard.
Excellent initiative there by the Reforestation and Watershed Rehabilitation Program. Very, very good initiative, inviting all the public and persons who are interested and stakeholders using the Corland Heritage Park and maybe other parks in the future. So even if you're not in that vicinity, you're not interested in using that specific park, something might come up again in the end, in other areas. So you might want to be a part of that conversation as well, just to get the ideas and also to let your voice be heard. So come out this evening, 6 p.m. at the Black Rock Community Center. We've been speaking with Mr. Dedan Daniel, Chairman of the Reforestation and Watershed Rehabilitation Program, for the public consultation that is taking place this evening at 6 p.m. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where we end the morning show on Tobago Updates Television, but we don't end our programming here. We head on over to Tobago Notes and then on over to GMT. So stay with us. And as you stay with us, of course, we invite you to help us share the live, share the live, share the live.
This was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Guys, you know, whenever you see me sitting here, it's because we're about to have those conversations that you want to have while I ask the questions you want asked. But before we get into this morning's conversation, let's have our news in 90 seconds.
News in 90 seconds is brought to you by Standards, never beaten on quality and prices.
A police operation on Saturday in Tobago resulted in the arrest and the detention of several foreign nationals. The Operation Slam exercise conducted in the Crown Point and Scarborough district led to a search at Chill Out Bar in Crown Point. Police detained 32 foreign nationals of Venezuelan descent and Dominican descent pending immigration status checks. Additionally, a 35-year-old man from Tarrondale, St. Madeleine, was arrested on several outstanding warrants. The operation, directed by ACP Hazel, Senior Superintendent Kirk, and supervised by ACP Barrett, ASP John, Inspector Bacchus, and Inspector Sterling, involved multiple police units including the CID, the K9 Unit, Interagency Task Force, Guard and Emergency Branch, and immigration officers. Inquiries are ongoing. Additionally, YouTube announced stricter policies on gun-related content starting June 18th, aimed at protecting young viewers. Content featuring homemade firearms, automatic weapons, and certain accessories will be age-restricted, barring users under 18 from viewing it. The platform also prohibits videos intended to sell firearms, instruct on making guns and ammunition, or modifying firearms for automatic fire. Live streams showing firearms are also banned, while some exceptions exist for artistic, news, or military footage, and violators will face content removal and potential channel termination after multiple infractions. This follows the arrest of Canada vlogger Christopher Hughes' Christmas list in Trinidad, highlighting gang culture and violence. And finally, Keith Scotland, chairman of the PNM Internal Constitutional Reform Committee, expressed satisfaction with the turnout and engagement of the June 8th consultation in San Fernando. The committee covered various constitutional topics and documented attendees' views of the PNM's reform stance. Discussions included the possibility of an executive president, the first past the post voting system, service commissions, and salaries review commission, and the protection of constitutional and child rights. Scotland highlighted the Administration of Justice Indictable Act 2011, which aimed to expedite trials by sending indictable cases directly to the High Court, demonstrating the government's commitment to combating crime. And that was your news in 90 seconds.
Need a fresh start? Upgrade your life with the things you want. At Standard Distributors in Canaan, life is good with zero. Get that amazing fridge, the stylish sofa with zero down and easy financing. Your dream house is within reach. Visit Standard Distributors today. Life is good with zero.
No place like home, home, home.
Oh, I love Tobago, baby.
When we outside, it's an ocean of love. All that we align to the stars up above. Let we dance now, take a chance now with me. And we go jump till morning. Look, the moon gone sleeping. Tell them we not leaving. Till the last drop of bacchanal is madness in the capital. So I feel like I'm running tongue again. Jump and shake the ground again. We with all my friends and them. No place like home, home, home. We go jump till the moon come down. It's we who the stars shine on. Play a mass and break away. Freedom in we DNA.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago, guys. As we take a quick recap over our news in 90 seconds, some of the things that we have seen happening here in Tobago. We saw a huge operation taking place on Saturday, both in Crown Point and in Scarborough, where we had joint police forces carrying out raids at different nightclubs or hotspots where we see a number of immigrants are often hanging out, and now we see that they're doing immigration checks. So this morning I want you guys to put in the chat, put some comments out there. What do you think about this? Do you think it's harassment, or do you think that the police are doing their jobs in making sure that the immigrants that we see here in Tobago are of a legal status? So I look forward to hearing some of your comments. Additionally, we can see that Christmas List has had a global impact with his content on gun-related violence and gang violence here in Trinidad and Tobago on YouTube. YouTube has now actually changed their policies to ensure that gun-related content is now restricted as of June 18th. So we see that that arrest of Christmas List has not only had a local impact, but it has also had a global impact. Additionally, the Tobago Business Chamber is currently calling on the government to input some of their policies or some of their proposals for the mid-year budgetary review. And they're talking about the instances of Foreign Investment Act, and they're asking the government to repeal that current act and make sure that that acts no longer exist, because it really prohibits foreign exchange from coming into the country. Now, when we look at what it takes for huge developers to come to Trinidad and Tobago and to be able to invest in big projects like hotels and other large development, it takes a lot of red tape for them to get in. So the Tobago Business Chamber currently is recommended that that current act is repealed. So guys, this morning we're going to be talking to Mr. Paul Richards, who is the independent senator, and he is the chairman of the parliamentary committee. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we're going to be talking about the public healthcare service town hall meeting and how you can be a part of that. But don't forget, when we're talking about immigration here on the island of Tobago, I want to hear some of your thoughts about that raid that took place over the weekend. Now, we know that there are legal immigrants here that help to stimulate our economy. So how do you view this raid that took place over the weekend? I look forward to hearing from you in the comments, guys. Be sure to like and share, add your comments, and we'll be back right after this break.
Rotisserie, mouth-watering fries, salads, combos, and specials galore. Feeling for something to eat? Come and see. Our rotisserie is seasoned to the T. Kicking chicken, masala, and jerk roast. Crispy fries made from scratch. Who do you know can beat that? Or salads freshly cut and packed. When you taste it, you'll be wanting to come back. So come check us out on number 2 Robinson Street, Uptown Scarborough, Tobago. We open on Saturday nights from 7:30 to 11:30 p.m. Monday to Thursday, we're open from 10 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. and on Friday, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Contact us at 772-7443 and all social media handles at the Rotisserie Factory.
I can't live without you, I can't be without you for too long. Cause when I'm around you, I feel like the heavens is coming down. I feel it in my soul every time we on the road is a miracle.
Deltec Distributors Weekend Special Wings Friday. 3 pounds wings, 2.5 kilogram fries. Special 100 TT Soup Saturday. 2 pounds cube beef, 2 pounds cow heel, 2 pounds chicken foot, 2 pounds pigtail or smoked bone. Special $150. Super Sunday. 3 pounds leg and thigh chicken, 3 pounds sliced pork, 3 pounds lamb slice, 3 pounds cheese, 2 pack of pasta. Special $250. Located Main Road, Argyle, Tobago. We deliver 20 TT. Contact us on deltecdistributors.com 395-5040 or 237-0102. Deltec Distributors Weekend Special.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago. As I said before the break, I would have asked you guys a question. Do you think that we saw some harassment of immigrants, or do you think that police were just doing their jobs? And from the responses that you guys gave, we see that most of you are saying that the police are indeed doing their jobs to ensure that the immigrants that are here are contributing to the economy and are here legally. So thank you for your response. As we move forward this morning, we are talking to Paul Richards, Independent Senator. Good morning, Mr. Richards, and welcome to welcome to Good Morning Tobago.
Thank you for having me.
Good morning. It's a pleasure having you. So you are chairing the Joint Select Committee on Social Services and Public Administration.
Yes, I am. Yes, and we're really happy to be able to be on your channel this morning to talk about our 5th Town Hall meeting, which is coming up this coming Thursday, 13th June, and it's going to be held at the Shaw Park Complex, Old Government Road in Scarborough, from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. So thank you for having us to be able to talk about it and invite Tobagonians to be a part of this Town Hall meeting.
Excellent. And tell us, what are some of the key topics that will be brought forward in this Town Hall meeting on Tuesday?
Well, the committee decided to look at the issues related to non-communicable diseases, and more specifically diabetes, cardiological diseases, and cancer, and their prevalence in Trinidad and Tobago, and the ability of our regional health authorities and the healthcare system in general to deal with and to provide services to the population of Trinidad and Tobago. We're also looking at how people are interfacing with the system in terms of how they're getting CDAP medications under the CDAP program, which has been in the news a lot recently with the comments from the Minister of Finance during the public focus, or the Parliament's focus, I should say, on the mid-year review, and also how the public is dealing with the outpatient clinics and the overall interface with the public healthcare system. We thought this was important because NCDs contributing to the largest number of mortalities in Trinidad and Tobago, as a matter of fact, around the world. So it's an issue that is of great public concern. And we, in this 5th Town Hall meeting, are looking to get how Tobagonians are feeling about what their experiences have been with the public healthcare system. We started in Port of Spain at the Parliament building. We went to San Fernando, City Hall in San Fernando. We also went to Chaguanas. We went to Arima in our last one. And this one, of course, we could never leave out Tobago. So we're very eager to hear what Tobagonians are thinking about how they're experiencing their interface with the public healthcare system.
Excellent. And there are members of the public who would say that we've been to numerous town halls, we've spoken, we've said all that we can say, but yet we have not seen the type of change that we want to see. What can you say to these persons that are a bit disenchanted with the current healthcare system?
And they have a point. We can't minimize their experiences at all. And that's some of the feedback we got at the previous 4 town hall meetings, that, well, we've constantly outlined our concerns, the shortcomings of this system. But what our intention is as a committee is to compile a report at the end of these interfaces with the public, because we feel the interfaces with the public are our ability to get directly from the public how they've been feeling and what their interfaces and what their challenges are. And it's important to get the public view, although I understand the sentiment that they may be disenchanted and what's going to come out of this, because we always have a lot of talk in Trinidad and Tobago. But it is our hope that at the end of this, what we will do is create a report that will be laid in Parliament, and the relevant minister, in this case the Minister of Health, will have an opportunity to respond after liaising with the RHAs and the other players in the healthcare system to say what they acknowledge as legitimate problems and how they intend to remedy these problems. And the committee also has the ability in 6 months or a year, or in any time frame that we so choose, to call back the ministry officials and say, what have you done about these issues that have been raised in this report?
Excellent. And what about topics related to the mortality rate of baby within the neonatal care system? Have these topics come up, and how are you guys dealing with these type of topics?
This is a very important topic. Of course, it's been in the public domain a lot, but it's not the remit of this particular inquiry. So each committee decides on its inquiries for the year. And this one specifically is dealing with the issues related to NCDs, non-communicable diseases, including diabetes, cardiological diseases, cancer, the CDAP program, and outpatient clinics. But of course, it also includes their interface with the overall public healthcare system, so that if there's an issue that has arisen with someone who had an issue in terms of their pregnancy and delivery and care thereafter, I'm sure they can raise it and will be included under the general interface with the healthcare system in this committee.
Okay, and what about the technological advancement in healthcare? What are the topics surrounding this that you guys are going to be looking at as it relates to NCDs?
Well, let me just correct it. The venue is the Scarborough Library. Let me just make a correction. The Scarborough Library is the venue this coming Thursday. In terms of technological advances, a lot has come up. There have been some positive bits of feedback because people have indicated that, well, the screenings they got for cancer, for heart disease, have worked and prevented them from becoming more ill and contributed to the remediation of their illnesses. But in some instances, people have also indicated that they've had long waits to get the screenings, equipment is not working. There are issues with file placement and patients' files and documentation and records at the hospital. So it's been a mixed bag. While there have been some indications of positive interfaces with technology and the equipment being used and the medications they've been able to get access to, there's also been a lot of commentary about the shortcomings of the system.
Okay, well, we're going to take a quick break and we're going to be back right after this.
Tobago, the date has been set. Saturday, June 22nd, we head to the Jade Monkey once again for the launch of their 2024 Jufi and Mass Band presentation for Tobago Carnival. On Saturday, June 22nd, we gather at the Jade Monkey to get a glimpse of the Jade Monkey Mass presentation for 2024, the Tobago Festival, and also the launch of the Jade Monkey Jufi, Monkey See, Monkey Do.
I come from the Twin Island.
Get ready for another year of Tobago Carnival with the best band in Tobago, Jade Monkey Mass and the Jade Monkey Jufi. So come out on June 22nd as we launch Monkey See, Monkey Do Jufi, and for Tobago Mass, the Tobago Festival's presentation, brought to you by the Jade Monkey. This one powered by Carib, Digicel, and Next 99.1 FM, a member of the TTT Limited Media Network. Jade Monkey.
The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorn's Place, with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorn's Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable.
But this place is boring enough. We don't even do nothing. Let me go somewhere now.
I really want some new things, yes? Poof. Then look no further. Portmore is the place for you.
Oh, really?
Yes, you can have anything that your heart desires. Take a look for yourselves. A world of endless opportunities. Feeling hungry? Go get something to eat. Books and stationeries, games, and much more. Portmore, the island's beat.
Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago. If you're just joining us, we have been chatting with Dr. Richards. Dr. Paul Richards, who is an independent senator. And we're talking about that town hall meeting that's going to be happening at the Scarborough Library on Thursday at 4:30 p.m. And we're going to be talking about the regional healthcare, and we're talking about non-communicable diseases. So you can come out and talk a bit about your experience with public health care. Now, Dr. Richards, are there any specific groups that you guys would like to attend the town hall meeting? Are there any specific groups of individuals that you want to hear from?
It's a good question. Well, it's open to the general public. But if there are groups that support persons with disabilities, groups that NGOs that deal with cancer patients, with healthcare in general, with issues related to mental health care in Tobago, any NGO is welcome. Any member of the public in Tobago is welcome. Even if you are a visitor to Tobago, you're welcome at this public consultation this coming Thursday at the Scarborough Library. And of course, no one really needs an excuse to come to Tobago. Tobago is such a beautiful island. So we're looking forward to coming and being a part of Tobago and hearing what Tobago has to say about their interfaces with the public healthcare system. And I think it's very important that the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago has made that decision to go out and get the views of the public. And I know you would have covered earlier on. Sometimes the public gets jaded. They make their recommendations, they make their comments about several issues in society, and they don't think that they get the kind of redress they need. But the only way to keep making sure that the decision makers hear their voices is to take avail of these types of opportunities. It's usually broadcast live, and it's available on the Parliament channel. And if you'd like more information, you can call 624-7275. That's 624-7275. Persons are also able to send questions if they can't attend in persons to the Parliament at jscspa@parliament.org. That is, let me just make sure I get that correct. JSC@parliament.org. You can send an email with your question or comment, and we include those questions and comments if you can't attend in person to the general panel that's there in terms of their understanding of your issues, how you're dealing with the healthcare system, because we think it's very important. It was very important to come to Tobago because Tobago has a different environment and may have a different experience with the healthcare system and interfacing with that in Tobago. Medical healthcare professionals are also welcome. Anyone who would have interfaced with the public healthcare system is welcome to the town hall meeting this coming Thursday at the Scarborough Library. It starts at 4:30, by the way.
Excellent. And what about situations that Tobagonians often encounter whereby you touched on it a bit earlier, where they have to travel to Trinidad to get much needed medical attention, whether it be for cancer care patients in oncology? What type of policies can we possibly see coming out from the Parliament after they have given their feedback in these type of sessions?
Well, it's a good question, because very often persons in Tobago have to travel to Trinidad to receive healthcare in certain circumstances. The committee's remit is not to identify the policy. The committee's remit is to give the public a chance to say what the issues are. And in those cases, one would imagine that because you're coming from Tobago, you may want some sort of arrangement to be made where you are seen, because you don't have the ability in some cases to go back home on the same day, and you may have to spend all day at the public healthcare facility. So I think it's a very good point that you raised there for persons who are coming from Tobago to be able to identify that particular circumstance so that the response from the Minister of Health or the regional health authorities can address that particular issue, because it is an important issue for persons who are traveling from Tobago to Trinidad to receive healthcare. And we'll, of course, include it in our recommendations at the end of the report coming out of these public consultations.
Okay, but outside of the public consultation and the town hall meeting, there's a lot of work that you have been doing in diabetes and diabetic care. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Well, we've had the Diabetes Association and the Cancer Society come before the committee a couple of weeks ago and speak from their perspective, their membership, how they have felt the public healthcare system is dealing with those very important NCD issues. And because their membership will give them feedback. So dealing with the NGOs that provide support to persons who may have had cardiological issues, the Trinidad and Tobago Heart Foundation, the Cancer Society, Diabetes Association, and their leaderships has been very instrumental or instructive for us in terms of including their information in our final report and getting responses from the relevant authorities.
Do you want to share any of those of the key comments that you've seen come forward during these consultations?
Generally, the comments, while we've had positive responses, there have also been the issues of the wait times that patients have to endure. Sometimes the issues of how their medical records are stored and accessed. Sometimes the accessibility to CDAP covered drugs and whether they are available or whether they've run out or not. Sometimes people get appointments in the public health system that I consider ridiculous, because if you have a heart complaint and you get an appointment for a follow-up visit that is 6 months or a year down the road, your condition may deteriorate. So those issues have come up over and over again, and of course will be included in our report to the Parliament, which will get to the desk of the Ministry or the relevant authorities, and hopefully positive responses in terms of how the state intends to respond to those challenges will come out of the issue and the exercise.
Can you reiterate to the public how similar consultations in the past has contributed to positive policy change, and how this particular consultation would also do the same for them?
Well, for example, we had a consultation on elderly care centers in Trinidad and Tobago. And the responses we had, and we were able to also go out to visit a few elderly care centers. And coming out of the issues that were raised and highlighted, a stronger regulatory framework was put in place for better care and supervision of elderly care persons. We also recently did one on early childhood care centers in Trinidad and Tobago, both public and private. And coming out of those, the Ministry of Education was able to see some of the challenges that are happening at those early childhood care centers in terms of closing gaps. So there are positives that come out of it. In this case, the Ministry of Health and the regional health authorities will be held accountable by the committee for the issues raised by the public who attend and who send in also their experiences via email and via hard copy. And those are highlighted during the town hall meeting. So it's a very important exercise in getting directly from the public what their experiences have been to collate this report, because it tells the public side of the story about how they feel about how they're being treated and how the services are being provided, and if, in their opinion, the services are being provided at the correct level of professionalism, etc.
Okay, and here in Tobago, one of the topics regarding healthcare that has continued to come up over the past couple weeks has to do with the 24-hour opening of the Roxborough Hospital. If comments are made on this particular issue, what can be done from the parliamentary level?
Well, the Parliament has a particular role. The committees in the Parliament, our role is to collect the information and pass it on to the relevant authorities, in this case, the Ministry of Health. So if the data, and this is just an example of what if, because I can't comment on what the ministry's response will be. That's up to the Ministry of Response. For example, if the data supplied suggests that, well, enough people need the services overnight or on a 24-hour basis because people can get in at any time, my presumption is the ministry should respond to that and provide an explanation as to if it will be extended to 24-hour service, and if not, why not? And if it is not done so, what measures are going to be put in place for persons who are ill when the institution is not officially open. So I think those are the kinds of things that can come out of this, because the committee can hold the ministry accountable for the responses that the public gives us in terms of whether or not they feel they're getting the adequate level of service on a 24-hour basis.
Okay, and well, this is an excellent initiative to be able to get that feedback from the public, especially seeing that over time persons are losing their confidence in the healthcare system. Now, this information is extremely important as the Parliament uses it to make recommendations to the Ministry of Health for policy changes. As we encourage people to come out, can you let them know why it's really important to be a part of this initiative on Thursday?
It's very important to come out this coming Thursday to the Scarborough Library. It starts at 4:30 because this is a chance where you get to directly interface with parliamentarians who are on this committee, the Joint Select Committee on Social Services and Public Administration, because the inquiry is aimed at improving the service to you in the healthcare sector, in getting your voice to be heard, because you are the end users of the system, and your voices and experiences should be directing policy changes and mechanisms to improve the services to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, because at the end of the day, it's your taxpayers' dollars that are being used to provide the service, and the service should come up to the standard that you expect should be provided. So it's very important that we hear your voices, and we're looking forward to you coming to the library this coming Thursday and talking to us and telling us what your experiences have been, particularly in relation to NCDs, the CDAP program, and the general healthcare provision in Tobago.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Dr. Richards. We want to thank you so much for coming on and giving us the time and letting Tobago know that their voice is indeed important and necessary in the conversation regarding healthcare and improving public health, especially where non-communicable diseases are concerned. We also want to thank you for all the work that you have been doing and that you continue to do, and for choosing Tobago Updates this morning. Guys, we want to thank you so much. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back right after this.
It's a brand new morning.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
How it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show. Yeah. Hey. Tobago updates. Good morning,
Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago, guys. As we continue our conversations this morning, we are chatting with the Tobago Business Chamber, and we are talking with Mr. Attorney Martin George. Good morning, sir, and welcome to Tobago Updates.
Yes, hi, good morning to you, and good morning to your viewers, and good morning, Trinidad and Tobago.
Oh, thank you so much this morning for making the time to chat with us. Now, the Tobago Business Chamber has made proposals to the mid-year budgetary review, and we would have touched a bit on it earlier, where you have submitted a recommendation that the Foreign Investment Act be totally repealed, because it really prohibits the type of investment that Trinidad and Tobago needs to have that continuous circulation of foreign exchange. Talk to us a bit about that.
Okay, all right. So the Foreign Investment Act is something that was introduced around 2008, 2009. And when the proposals were first floated, the idea behind it was supposedly to prevent Tobagonians from selling their properties to foreigners. But, I actually had a meeting with then Chief Secretary, Mr. Orville London, and I told him, I said, Chief, all this is going to do is switch it from the lands being sold to foreigners, and instead it's going to be just bought up by rich Trinidadians, which is what has essentially happened, right? The amount of properties that have been sold to Trinidadians over the last 10, 15 years, it's phenomenal. So basically, it hasn't stopped people selling their lands or selling their properties, which I think is what they were hoping to achieve. So the act has not achieved its purpose at all if it was to stop Tobagonians from selling out their properties, selling their lands, etc. Instead, what it has done, it has prevented Tobagonians from getting the very lucrative prices that they used to get when they were able to sell to foreigners. Because the point is, before the Foreign Investment Act, people were able to sell their properties to foreigners directly, and you would get, large sums of money in foreign currency. So therefore, you would get that foreign exchange flowing into the country. So since it has not stopped people selling their properties or selling their lands, then all you are really doing is preventing foreign exchange from coming in. And the nation is in a severe forex crisis. So therefore, in those circumstances, we are saying that it makes absolutely no sense to keep this archaic and anachronistic piece of legislation on the books. To satisfy whom? What purpose are you achieving by keeping it on the books when the nation is suffering for foreign exchange? The people can therefore be able to sell their lands if this legislation is removed.
Okay, and how does it really work, the current legislation, when persons are selling their lands and asking for US dollars when they're selling? Because you have a number of properties on the market and persons are putting their price out there in US dollars.
No, well, there's nothing wrong with you putting your price in US dollars, because remember, even locals who might have access to foreign exchange could purchase, or you might have a local living abroad who works for foreign currency who could purchase it for that. That's not the issue. The issue is that the legislation prevents someone who is not a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago from being able to just directly purchase property. And I don't know why the legislation is there. It makes absolutely no sense. So therefore, someone who is not a citizen, who is interested, somebody maybe from Sweden, Germany, Italy, Belgium, wherever, and they want to purchase property in Tobago, they now have to be subject to this legislation. And let me tell you, it is the most cumbersome and obsolete piece of legislation you could think of. So therefore, those are the reasons why we have said it makes no sense. I think in the years since it's been implemented, you have no more than maybe 10 licenses ever granted. And it's a nightmare to try to navigate the hurdles. So while other Caribbean islands are rolling out the red carpet for investors, welcoming them, facilitating things, making it easy, we still have this stupid legislative obstacle that serves no purpose, and it does not benefit Tobagonians. Tobagonians would benefit much more if this legislation were repealed and we were able to sell our properties directly to foreigners from all over the world, from Switzerland, from wherever they want to invest.
And as a part of your recommendations for the mid-year budget review, you have also made proposals in regards to crime and security by asking the government to invest a substantial amount of money in the ports as an entry for criminality between the islands. You've asked for vehicle scanners, guard dogs to be at the ports. Tell us a bit more about some of the recommendations that you're making, and what is your confidence level in the actual investment in these things?
Well, the thing is, we're asking that the government take these things seriously and deal with them, because at the end of the day, let's be real, the root cause of a lot of the upsurge that we've seen in crime in Tobago is for two reasons: guns or drugs. All right, illegal guns, illegal drugs. That's what it is. Let's not window dress it or pretend about it, okay? So therefore, if it is that it's illegal guns or illegal drugs, then you have to now get to the source of it, because neither of those are manufactured in Tobago per se. All right, so therefore we have to now see, okay, is it coming through the legal ports of entry? Is it being, brought in by, persons coming at, illegal ports of entry or non-regulated ports of entry? Okay, so let's deal with the legal ports of entry first. All right, the airport is not a major source of these things, because the airport, they have their security systems very tight, but the port is something where, imagine you are walking through a scanner, so a walk-on passenger, right? A single person walking on with a backpack or a knapsack or whatever. You have to pass through a scanner, but yet still you could drive on a van load of guns and there's no scanner for your vehicle. Does that make any sense whatsoever? You're scanning the individual who is walking on, but somebody could drive on with a truckload of guns and you have no scanner. All you have is a port police might, take a cursory look or a glance and, say, open your trunk or open the back. They peep around, right? In less than a minute, they tell you, all right, okay, you go ahead. Come on, seriously? That is not the way you do things now in this modern day of 2024. If you really want to stop these things, you definitely need to have the vehicle scanners, and I don't know why that has not been implemented yet. So therefore, we have to get to the source of it and ensure that we stop that inflow of illegal guns and illegal drugs into Tobago. That will help immediately to reduce crime and criminality on the island.
You have also recommended the Tobago Regional Police Service. Tell us a bit about that one as well.
Right. Okay. So you saw the Chief Secretary, you spoke about the, Assembly having its own police force. Now, the only way that can happen is along the lines of like what happens with the regional corporations in Trinidad, where you have the municipal police. So therefore, what I have suggested is, and I've actually given a name that can be used, the Tobago Regional Police Service. TRPS. But what needs to be done is you need to have legislation so that this can be enacted. So the same way the municipal police are enacted by legislation, the government would need to enact specific legislation to create the TRPS, the Tobago Regional Police Service, and then once they are legislatively incorporated, they will then be precepted and they can then now work alongside the TPS and ensure that we have a strengthening of the law enforcement arm of the agencies for both, of them working together for the benefit of Tobago.
Excellent. And we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back and continuing our discussions right after this. See you soon.
I say thanks a favor to wake up and
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO, and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago. We have been chatting with Attorney Martin George, and we've been talking about some of the recommendations that the Tobago Business Chamber has been making to the mid-year budget review. Welcome back, Mr. Martin. Good morning. How are you doing?
Yes, I'm great.
All right, well, good to have you back. You made, the chamber made a recommendation that has been in this space for a while in regards to CPEP and URP and revamping and restructuring that whole program in order to offer full-time employment for the entire day and to expand their skills and their offering, not just the infrastructure, but also in agriculture. Talk to us a bit about this recommendation and what is your confidence level in the acceptance of these recommendations from the public perspective?
Okay, well, from the public perspective, I think that if the public recognizes the underlying idea behind it, they would definitely be on board with it. I'll tell you why. Currently, the way most of the CPEP and URP workers are structured, they are daily paid itinerant workers. So, in other words, a lot of them are not able to access, say, for instance, bank loans or mortgages or other facilities because the financial institutions see them as, you're just temporary and you're just a part-time worker, and therefore I can't give you a long-term loan based on a part-time status. So once they are now full-time workers permanently employed, that is going to elevate their status. So they will now be able to have a payslip that they could take to the bank and say, hey, listen, yes, this is my payslip. I'm a monthly paid worker. I am a full-time and this is my salary. I've been employed for so much time, etc. And therefore, they will now be able to access financing for projects that they want to undertake, whether it's a car loan, upgrading, improving your house, or purchasing land or whatever, anything of the sort. So they will be able to do these things and access these facilities if it is that they are able to be permanent workers. So that's one benefit for the public. Secondly, the increased salaries from being a whole day worker, right? So therefore your salary will increase. Therefore, this will now be your permanent job. 3, the benefit to Tobago particularly would be, as I'm suggesting, we focus on having these workers in the agriculture sector. But of course, this has to be led by the administration, by the government. So in other words, you have, like, for instance, if you start setting up major agricultural facilities or farms or whatever, then you use the resource of these workers as your staffing for the farms. Because really and truly, right now, nobody is, in agriculture in a big way in Tobago. Let's face it. If the boat doesn't come up with goods and provisions from Trinidad, or the boats from up the islands in Vincent, Grenada, etc., if they don't come to Tobago with their produce, we really have little or nothing, right? So therefore, we need to look at revamping our entire agriculture sector. Remember, years and years ago, Tobago used to be the breadbasket. We had a thriving agricultural industry where we actually used to supply Trinidad and supply up the islands. That has changed. So the question is, why can't we get back to that? And I am saying that, look, if we restructure our CPEP and URP programs, we therefore can have workers who can therefore now contribute to that developmental thrust.
Okay, and For a long time, Tobagonians have been complaining about the inter-island transportation system. We were promised by the Minister of Transportation that we would see a new cargo vessel for Tobago, yet we have not heard about it or seen it as yet. What can Tobagonians do and what can be done from the THA's level to continue to advocate, just as the Tobago Business Chamber is doing, for Caribbean Airlines to improve its services between the two islands?
Well, it's interesting because what I have noticed is that Caribbean Airlines has been publishing over the last few months, they've been publishing statistics. And what they are trying to show is that, look, regardless of what is said by the public, they are saying that they have actually provided excess capacity on the peak periods. So they have published statistics to show that they are saying, look, if it is that you are saying that you didn't get seats, they are saying that no, that's not true, because they have flown their aircraft with lots of empty seats. But again, I put the responsibility back on Caribbean Airlines, because I'll tell you, and I mean, any member of the traveling public can, confirm this situation. What seems to happen is that there's some flaw or irregularity in Caribbean Airlines' own booking system. So in other words, you might want to travel. You check online, you try to make a booking, it's telling you no seats available. But yet still, you go to the airport and you realize the same flight that told you no seats available is leaving half empty and going. What sense does that make? So in other words, Caribbean Airlines needs to update its system for some kind of real-time analysis. So in other words, if it is that they recognize that, well, okay, look, maybe, we might be flying half empty, then what they need to do is maybe do either phone calls or text messages or email confirmation with persons, okay, look, your flight is 8:20 tomorrow morning, you are confirmed on it. Can you let us know, are you going to be there on time, or shall we, reassign your flight to a different day at different time, because sometimes things may come up and somebody may not be able to make their flight. And, the point is there's no proper notification system. Caribbean Airlines has tried to implement this $50 penalty as a way of dealing with it. But the thing is, the $50 penalty has been very arbitrarily and capriciously applied, okay? Because you look at it and the reality is, you look at all the THA officials, when they miss a flight or they're late for a flight or whatever, nobody charges them the $50. Government officials traveling between the islands from central government, nobody charges them the $50. They walk on and they just change their flight at whim. It's really just the small man who ends up, paying the penalty. So Caribbean Airlines needs to look at that and change the way they do their online booking system so that they can get real-time updates. So therefore, if it is that someone has changed their mind or would not be traveling, then that seat can now become available for somebody who actually wants to travel, because it's pointless that you are showing me statistics to show that you are flying with empty seats, because that is ineffective for you, the airline, if you understand me. So it doesn't make sense that you traveling with half your plane empty. So they need to look at that. So I understand the point they are making, right? So we need to be fair to Caribbean Airlines also, I mean, I understand the point they're making, and they're saying, look, hey, we are providing the seats, but the problem is with their online booking system, which keeps showing unavailability, yet when you go to the airport, the plane is half full.
Right, and we're asking, the conversation continues to happen, asking them to expand the time between Trinidad and Tobago for the last flight.
Oh, yes. They have no excuse for that. They have no excuse for that. They have absolutely no excuse for that, because at one point they had said money was the issue, but you can't tell me money is the issue, but yet still we're seeing Caribbean Airlines expanding their routes to different islands, going up, to Cuba, to, Puerto Rico, all kinds of things. So if you have money to do those things, then don't tell me any rubbish about you don't have money to fly later times to Tobago, because it is highly inconvenient to anybody who has to come down to Trinidad to do business, because if it is you have to come down to Trinidad to do business, and you, for instance, you are trying to leave Port of Spain by 5 o'clock or 5:30 to face that traffic to go up the road, you're most likely not going to reach in time to be able to check in for that last flight, which is, I think, 8:20 or sometime after 8 p.m. So therefore, it's really, really crippling for people, because you have lots of people who they just missed the cutoff time, and then you are there now, you're at Piaco Airport, you're stranded. What do? Do you try now to fight traffic to go back down Port of Spain side to get somewhere to stay for the night, or do you end up sleeping in the airport? So it's really, really not efficient or convenient at all, because the time that you have to travel to try to get up there is really during peak time when the traffic is at its worst. So they definitely need to fly later. There's no excuse for them not doing so.
Okay, and the Chief Secretary is scheduled to give his budget presentation on the 1st of July. Are you making some of these pleas to him to include some of these recommendations into his presentation? And what are your final comments for the central government as they make their allocation towards Tobago?
Definitely, we would be reaching out to the Chief Secretary, because at the end of the day, we as a business organization, a business chamber, we are seeking the best, interests of Tobago and Tobago's development. So we are willing to work with whichever administration is in power, whichever administration is in charge. We are willing to work with them. So we are definitely willing to work with the Chief Secretary if it is that he is willing to take the ideas on board and make it part of his presentation. All right. I must, however, thank you all for the time, but I regrettably have another appointment that I have to head to now. But it's been a pleasure chatting with you, and it's always nice being part of the Tobago Updates family.
All right. Thank you so much, Attorney Martin George. Thank you for joining us this morning.
You're welcome.
All right, guys. Well, that is the end of this morning's conversations. We want to thank you for joining us this morning. Thank you for liking, sharing, and commenting, and doing all that you can do to make Tobago Updates the #1 broadcaster on the island of Tobago. Again, we want to say thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again tomorrow, guys. Have a great day.
I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear my neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power, we are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers, we are melanated ones. We special and there is no denying. Tobago is #1. I am you and you are me. Together we're stronger. Good morning Tobago. Good morning Tobago. Good morning Tobago.
You're viewing Tobago Updates Television, your exclusive gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise.